Two truths and a lie goes insanely hard. Fat idiot chud. Pick two. Yeah. Why not have all three? Why not? Welcome to the stream, everybody. What is this? It's not Mosa Kill. This is just fan art. Don't anybody get excited about the most unlikely crossover of all time. This is just another mattress banger. Mattress banger. It's like what I am. No. Probably shouldn't say. Probably don't go with that one, dude. me when I wake up with like a boner. That's terrible. Clip that. Don't clip that. No, this is from Mattress. It's window kill plus Mosalina, and I like that the gun is a window. It's like the gun. It's window. That's what that tool would be called. Probably just window. But it's and what does the window actually say? I swear it says mime. It probably says Molina. This jit cracks mattresses. Listen, we're all cracking the mattress in the morning just a little bit, okay? It feels really good. Anyway, thank you, Mattress, and I'm sorry that I've polluted your praise with talking about like pressing your dick into the mattress. Okay. I'm done. I'm actually done. I'm sorry, that was foul. I really need to clean up my act. We're gonna do reviews. Okay, anyway. I sleep on my back so I crack the sky. This jit cracks the sky. Binding of Isaac. Somebody's got to. I'm sure someone's done that, right? This jit cracks the sky. That has to be a thing. I'm gonna do reviews. Oh wait, hold on. I went to mute and it didn't work. I did like one frame of a snort and then I canceled it. I like perfectly frame canceled it. I made a playlist of music, and it's gonna be nothing super like new or crazy. It's just gonna be stuff that we've used as backing music in the past. But I made its own playlist, and I complain about YouTube playlists every time we do reviews. But even making this simple playlist was such a huge pain in the ass because the system is so broken. It's just outright buggy. It'll just say like something's in the playlist when it's just not. Like. It's just outright broken. There's so many issues. It was such a pain in the ass making even this playlist, but that's the last I'm ever going to complain about it, assuming YouTube doesn't shit the bed. The New Zealand bed. On even this relatively small playlist of like 50 songs. Anyway, I could probably put it in the. I'll put it in the description too. It's a private playlist, but I'll make it unlisted, or maybe private playlists can already be seen. I don't know. It's nothing crazy, but if you want it, it'll be in the description. I've got webcam. Yippee. Here I am. Check this out. It's Last Battle on the Sega Genesis. I bought this because the dude on the front has the most insane tits and ass. Look at that. Oh my god, no way. Like, what the fuck? I saw that in the game store and I did that. My eyes bugged out of my head and I was like, now this game I simply must play. I also got Echo, The Tides of Time, and The Humans. I don't know what that is, but it just enticed me and it was like $4, so I bought it. So you might see some Genesis action as well. I also wanted to show off. Let's get the spreadsheet behind me. Let's see if the playlist works. Ooh, boy, is it not? No, this song just has a long fade out, I think. Good. Okay. It's on shuffle, but we got 2 Daub songs in a row because Daub is goated. Let's get up the reviews window as a background, but I do want to show off. This is going to be a stream in and of itself, but you guys have to look at this. It's the laser scope. Took it out of its box. And yes, I got it. I got the box. So here it is. Here's the headset. There's the thing that you yell fire into. It's in pretty pristine condition. This is something, it's a zapper type thing, basically. You put this on your head. These are headphones. And you attach this little thing, and it goes like in front of your eye, and you track around, and there's a little scope, I think. Something of that nature. I don't know how it works. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm gonna try it live on stream at some point. But you aim with your head and you yell fire into the microphone and it shoots the zapper. And it's also, I just thought the box was amusing, and I'll probably show it off on the stream that's dedicated to this thing too, but I just felt like showing it off. Isn't that cool? It's quite the gaudy design. And I like, here's the infamous illustration that shows a mom talking on the phone while her kid quietly plays video games. Neglecting to mention that an optional feature of this headset is to require your kid to go, fire, fire, every single time they want to shoot the gun in the game. Which, if you're playing, I want to try it with, like, To the Earth and lose my mind. Because some of those games, you really gotta shoot a lot, so you'd be like, fire, 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 fire! And it's like, there's no way this Konami piece of shit is gonna be able to detect quick fires like that, you know? So, it's just kind of funny. I picked that up from a store called Super Smash Video Games. That's real, look that up. It was a good store. And I also, oh, I wonder if those are in arm's reach. Oh yeah, hold on. Sorry, now that I'm in like show and tell mode. Picked up a bunch of shit lately, but it's just stuff that's in arm's reach. Silly Band DS. It was $4. And Astrology DS. Can't really read it, but it says Astrology DS, and that was $15. That's a little shameful. I also got Xexes. I was like, hey, you know, can I get something out of the cabinet? And the guy was like, oh, which one do you want? And I was like, I'm not even sure how to say it. Xexes? And he was like, oh, you're thinking of Xevious. And I was like, in my head, I was like, nope, I'm thinking of Xexes. And he was like, oh god, what the fuck is that? It was funny. And I also got Forsaken, which looks like kind of a Half-Life type game for the PS1. It's not got cover art, so, you know. But the screenshots, they enticed me. It looked cool, it looked like a vibe. We also have this on N64 because Bella has, like, most N64 games. Xexes is, yeah, it is a Kingdom Hearts villain. Yeah, they've all got fucked up names like that. Anyway, reviews. I'm gonna do some casual reviews. Did somebody post the link? There's somebody in the review spreadsheet looking at me. There's an anonymous dingo looking at me. There's one other person, because there are places that I've linked this spreadsheet. Did somebody post it in chat? There's a singular anonymous dingo, literally just like, woof, just staring at me. The dingo left and now it's a duck. What? Okay, anyway. If somebody wants to post the thing in chat, because sometimes people, I guess I could do it. Sometimes people are like, oh, can I read the list? Yeah, people are showing up. There's a snake now, there's a chipmunk, there's a chinchilla! Roach showed up! That's awesome. Okay. We're just gonna do some casual reviews. We're just gonna sit here. This is a spreadsheet of, like, all the games that I've streamed, and even some that I haven't. We're giving them a casual little verbal review with, a number ranking from 1 to 10. I do 0.5 decimals, but I don't go any more granular than that. And this column is just whether or not I would recommend a game. And sometimes there's an asterisk. I think everything else here is pretty easy to intuit. And don't think too hard about the scores. They're not meant to be... This is not meant to be a prestigious, super well thought out list. Like, there are probably games here that even I would disagree with my own, like, past self number rankings, but we've got a lot of catching up to do because I played a lot of garbage on the NES. Yeah, did you guys get, like, the Danganronpa jump scare? It didn't even faze me. Did you see how I just charged right through it? I liked how, like, there was somebody who was, that latest Nintendo Direct, it was like the Deltarune thing, a sprout came out of the ground and somebody was like, oh, Pikmin! Oh, I thought this was gonna be Pikmin! And then somebody retweeted that saying, real Pikmin fans felt fucking nothing seeing that sprout. And that's so true, because I remember when I saw that, I was like, there was like a frame in my brain of like, Pikmin! And then I was like, it's not fucking Pikmin. Just funny. I love that, like, true Pikmin fans are just dead inside. They have no hope. But the thing is, Miyamoto, crazy Miyamoto, he confirmed Pikmin 5 casually in an interview, just like what he did with Pikmin 4 10 years too early. So we're just in the Copelands forever. We're in the Pikmin 5 Copelands eternally. Okay, so we're starting off. Part of the reason I've been putting off doing reviews is because the first one we have to start with is Face Raiders on the 3DS. This is a pack-in game. It's a very, like, typical kind of pack-in game. It shows off some gimmicks of 3DS. The camera function, the gyro aim, the 3D-ness of it. It's an amusing little thing, but it is not really very fun to play. I like gyro aim. Like, most of the game is just like sitting like this and like swiveling around, you know, trying to shoot little, it takes a picture of your face and other people's faces and it puts them on enemies that fly around and go, and you have to shoot them out of the air. The game plays fine, like it's well tuned, but I don't like the only controls being pivoting with the gyro. I don't think there's button controls. Maybe there are button controls. But I don't vibe, like, that's not very fun to me. It's just kind of hectic and annoying, and it kind of becomes a blurry mess when you're like whipping the camera around that much. It's like the tracking is cool, and it does make you go, wow, the 3DS is a cool system, but has anybody ever played more than like 3 levels of Face Raiders? Genuinely, does it like get good? Does it get peak later? Because it's pretty dull. But it's like, I don't know, each level has its little gimmicks. It is designed, it's a game that's designed. You're offending all the Face Raiders fans right now. Well, you better fucking get the hell out of here before I start talking about Pets Hamsters 2. If there's any Pets Hamsters 2 fans in the audience, I'm about to rip it to shreds. So, just warning. Warning, liberals. If anyone's easily offended, did you see that quote from, like, the pitch of, like, the creator of The Boys? It's like, yeah, we got, like, flipping the bird, swearing, sex. If you're easily offended, this might not be the show for you. And I was like, that sounds like the guy who made The Boys. No, I guess. I don't think I would recommend you play this. I'm not in edit mode here. I need to be on my account. It's my Patreon email address that I use to actually edit the spreadsheet. I was on my, like, main Grapefruit one. Here we go. No, would not recommend. And I don't fucking know, like a 4, like a 3.5. I don't know. Didn't really leave a big impression on me. Street Pass Me Plaza. I didn't really play this. I'm gonna put NA. I like looked at the menu, but I don't have any street passes because it's fucking 2026. I forgot what year it was. So yeah, we don't even give recommends if I put an NA. NA is just like, I don't know, there are some times where it's like, how do you review the Game Genie? How do you review, you know, Uma Musume, the game that I didn't actually play that we saw for like 10 seconds on stream. I don't really know anything about Street Pass Mii Plaza, but I do think Street Pass is a cool idea, cool gimmick for the 3DS. I used to kind of think it was stupid, but now I'm kind of like sad that I missed out on the era of Street Passes. I never knew it was a thing. So, sorry. Okay, Tomodachi Life. I can do an actual review of an actual game here. Very bizarre game, Tomodachi Life. Gets compared to Animal Crossing quite a bit, and that's a fair comparison. You're taking care of this little commune of weird little homunculi that you create yourself through the Mii creation tools. I feel like it varies what kind of characters you're going to include on your island. I think a lot of people do a bunch of people they know in real life, and then a lot of other people do bullshit fictional characters, which is definitely the route that I like to take. It's an interesting game. It's one of those games where when you're playing it, you're kind of like, this is barely anything. but compels me though. Like, there's fun to be had, but it's all very random and very meaningless. It doesn't really feel like there's a ton going on under the hood. Like, maybe there is a lot going under the hood, but a lot of the decisions that the Tomodachis make are just random and chaotic, and I don't know, that aspect of it was always kind of tricky for me to parse. Sometimes it was just so random and chaotic, it's just like, well, none of this has any meaning. Every once in a while, you know, a character will do something that seems like in character for them, but even then it just feels like those events are so rare that they're barely even worth mentioning, because they just get lost in the chaos of just like random nonsense. That being said, there's a lot of charm to this game. There's a lot of humor. I think that's like the best part, is it's like a comedy game, basically. It's supposed to make you laugh, and it does make me laugh. There's a lot of content that kind of gets doled out slowly over time, and there are some really interesting systems at play, like the whole voice synthesis thing, and the singing, the fact that you can make your characters sing songs, and it actually like sounds kind of okay. Even in their own, you know, unique voices, depending on how fucked up you make their voice, which the fucked up voices are also funny. But, and it's sad that that got removed in the sequel, the singing. That was such a cool thing. Why did they remove it? There must be a reason. Maybe they're planning on adding it in an update, or I don't know. Yeah, these past few songs have been from Danganronpa. It's just been coincidence, I think. I think Shuffle works. I tested to see if Shuffle works. I think it works. Please. YouTube playlist, just don't break for one stream. Please! So, Tomodachi Life, it's a very bizarre game. It's a very funny game. I think it's meant to be funny, and it makes me laugh a lot, so I think it does its job. Would I recommend this one when the new one exists? Honestly, probably not. I know I've been having that attitude a lot lately. It's always with these, like, fucking Nintendo games. It's, I don't know, seeking out a 3DS and playing Tomodachi Life 3DS could be fun, could be a vibe, but the newer one does have a whole lot more going on in it, I think, despite missing some features that I loved about the 3DS one. And of course, it bears mentioning that this is not the 3DS Tomodachi Life is not the first one. There was a Japan exclusive one on the DS normal, the DS normal un-3D, and I don't know anything about that one. What if that one's like the ultimate peak? It's actually the best in the franchise. It's like, oh man, we gotta emulate, translate it, and then emulate Japanese DS. Is DS region locked? I actually don't know. Interesting game. I kind of have some misgivings about it, and that feels so overly serious to say. I guess, you know, I'll be charitable and say yes, sure. Like, if you got your hands on a 3DS, factoring stuff into the recommendation column, like, is it something you're gonna be able to get your hands on? Like, it's an expensive game, but you could like emulate it, you could like jailbreak your 3DS. And ranking this with a number is gonna be pretty tricky. I don't know, like, I like it enough. I liked it enough to play it quite a bit. DS isn't region locked, but 3DS is. Noted. Interesting factoid. I got it. That's just like a blind spot for me, region locking. I gotta like sit there and study the list of like all the relevant consoles, see if they're region locked or not. My heart says 7.5, honestly. Like, oh my god. The 7 key on my keyboard is a little fucked up. I wasn't trying to be mean. It's fine. It's not even really... I don't know. I know a lot of people really love Tomodachi Life. I'm a little more lukewarm on it, but I still see the appeal. It's my list. But, yeah... It's the feeling of crushing meaninglessness, honestly, that kind of puts me off Tomodachi Life a little bit. My webcam's kind of huge, isn't it? Can we, like, crop this bad boy a little? I'm, like, moving myself in real life. Move your monitor, dude. That's better. I'm like taking up an enormous amount of like screen real estate. I think that works better. Your hair looks good, thank you. This is my wedding haircut. It was getting too fucked up. It was, especially in the summer when my hair gets long. It's like I get so sweaty under my hair. I don't know how people with super long hair or like afros do it. I would just constantly be having to like have a fan, one of those little like, oh man, you know what rocked in elementary school was in the summer, right before school was about to let out, you get the little fan that goes like on a necklace around your neck. I felt like king shit in 6th grade, sitting there with my fan right before school was about to get let out for summer. To go back to the necklace fan. I'm on a shake table. Yeah, if I lean on the table, it shakes. I'm sorry. Sometimes that happens. Whoa. Oh, right. There's, like, ghosts of URLs in here. Because these... I don't know how this works. This is, like, a bug with, or some kind of hidden feature, of Google Sheets. It's like these cells used to have links to VODs in them. But I deleted. I did delete and shift left. But somehow the property of like hovering over them and getting the URL is still there, which is kind of cool. I don't think it's there on every single one of them, but oh my god, there's me playing Face Raiders in Tomodachi Life. Fun. The Obama Samurai. Yeah, the wedding's pretty soon. I got fitted for a tux the other day. The guy who helped me get fitted saw my toe socks and pointed and laughed. He went, ha ha ha. He pointed and laughed at them. I was like, thanks, man. It was awesome. He didn't actually. It was a slight exaggeration, but he did laugh and he did point. I was like, thanks, dude. Whatever, he works in fashion. He's allowed to spit his shit. Okay, Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. Yeah, I got a chat comment in real life. To my mind, this is the best of the Mario RPGs, I think. This is my favorite of the ones that I've played. And I don't really necessarily hold the Mario RPGs in extremely high regard. But this one, just in terms of my personal tastes, and my personal history with this series, it's like this and like Super Paper Mario are my personal favorites. And I know those might not be the most... Thousand Year Door's close. Superstar Saga's close, but this is one of the best, I think. Lots of fun DS gimmicks. I think this is a great, like, show off all the gimmicks of the DS type game. You got touchscreen gimmicks, you got blowing into the microphone, you got turning the DS sideways. all sorts of fun stuff. It's switching back and forth between the top and bottom screen constantly in a way that just kind of keeps it fresh, keeps it feeling fun and exciting. There are still dull parts, as there are in a lot of RPGs, frankly, that kind of feel like a slog to get through, but I've never really felt that bored playing this game or like got frustrated and stuck. It's always been a very compelling experience. I also think the boss fights are awesome. The battle system is great. Everybody knows the Mario & Luigi combat system is awesome. It's just very fun and reactive, and it's a lot more engaging for people who are more oriented toward action games like I am. I know these games kind of have a reputation for being like baby's first RPG, or like RPGs for like ADHD kids and shit, but I appreciate that they have active elements, and I know there are other RPGs that also do this, but it's a good example. I think they developed good systems for the combat in this that are based on Mario and Luigi's abilities. In previous games, they elaborated on things, they invented new things, all that stuff was fun, but it still felt like this is an expert way to turn fucking Super Mario into an RPG. It just had to happen, I guess. It was too popular to not get turned into an RPG. So I remembered kind of hating all the little mini games with the DS touchscreen, but replaying the game, I was kind of like, I don't know, every time one of these shows up, I get pretty excited and like have a good time. I too got stuck on the carrot minigame as a kid, and I kind of think maybe it was like a slightly spotty tutorial that, like, because that carrot is infamous, right, for being a choke point in the game where a lot of people give up or just get stuck for a while. I feel like I didn't understand the rules properly when I played that as a child, and I have a feeling a lot of other people who had the same issue probably also didn't get certain aspects of like how the game worked. Because when I was playing it recently, I was like, okay, I understand how this works. I've played it a few times. It's pretty easy. It's not too hard, like, once you know what you're doing. But yeah, that part's a little infamous, I think, for a reason. This game has a remake? Why? Like, yeah, there's a couple tiny, like, spotty parts like that, but I can't believe this game got a remake. That's one of the most insane remakes to me. Because this game has aged like a fine wine. The sprite art looks great. The music is fantastic. Yoko Shimomura, am I wrong? Who was it who did the soundtrack for this? Some very accomplished composer. It's a great game. It's a good game with a great sense of humor. It's got good writing, I guess good translation as well, if I liked the English version. Right, they're written in Japanese first and then translated over, right? Because there was the whole thing about Bowser making a mnemonic with his own name that, like, didn't translate into English properly. Good story, good dialogue, kind of weirdly good story. I remember, like, being really enthralled as a teenager playing this by how many significant twists and turns the story takes. Like, it's not just like, at the beginning of the game, the princess gets kidnapped and you need to get the 7 scepters from the 7 different lands. It's like, nah, there's like twists and turns, things happen, the Blorbs get cured halfway through the game, Mario and Luigi get out of Bowser's body, and they fight each other, and that shit's hype. All that stuff really kept me engaged with this game, where previous Mario & Luigi games have kind of dragged at times and led to points where I kind of check out a little bit. So I really appreciate this game. It's not like the best thing ever. I think I would give it like 8.5. If I was doing more granular decimals, it would be like an 8.6 or 7. Oh my god, he said it! He fucking said I was trying to calculate if I'd be able to spit and not like hit anything that I don't want to get wet. So I had to pause for a moment. The Konami laser scope styrofoam almost got wet, guys. That could have been a disaster. I could have gone harder, but it would have got all my shit wet. Okay, yes, sure, I'd recommend this. Above most other Mario RPGs, and the great thing is you don't even need to play the other ones. This is one of the more acceptable series to skip entries in, I would say. Even though it's like if you think you're gonna love them all, then just play them all. Some people play Superstar Saga and then skip Partners in Time and go straight to Bowser's Inside Story, and it's like, if you're gonna do that, just skip both of them and just go straight to Bowser's Inside Story. There's little Easter eggs relating to the previous games, but really, for the most part, you're not gonna get. You're not. It doesn't matter playing the previous games. Like, there's Fawful, but like, you get who Fawful is, and you don't really need the context of who he was in Superstar Saga. I put on my wrist brace for this stream. I just realized. It's not exactly a tech skill heavy game that I'm playing right now. By the way, when I was typing in, so I put the category to just chatting for these streams. There's a category called just catting, where it's cats. Just catting. Wow. I saw that and I was like, bravo. That's good. That's really good. Thanks, guys. Okay. Bowser's Inside Story, pretty good. It's got the 8.5 Nintendo curse of like, it's great, but not like exceptional. Like, it doesn't make me jump to the moon, but it's like everything is achieved very competently, and it has an amount of sauce. It's just not in abundance. It has an appropriate amount of sauce. Yeah, Mugenics, just catting. That'd be funny. Okay, Plants vs. Zombies DS. I played this one a crazy amount. I wonder if this game keeps track of like how many hours you've played it, because I've probably amassed like... It was such a brief period of time, but I spent so much time playing it. I was really thinking I would be able to get the full Zen Garden. Like, I don't think I actually thought I'd be able to do it, but I was like, maybe if I just like play Plants vs. Zombies once a day for like 6 years, I'll get it. But I gave up at a certain point. It just became so tedious. But Plants vs. Zombies DS, cool port. It is a very interesting port. It's not like they were able to just copy paste stuff over for this. They kind of had to recreate the game in a lot of ways, it appears. It's also a very buggy game. This is one of the glitchiest DS games I've ever played in my life. Stuff just happens. Like, bugs just happen without you even having to do any, like, fulfill any condition to trigger them, seemingly. Like, stuff will just randomly break, which is hilarious. But it never is so bad that, like, it's just amusing. Like, the kind of jank that you see is just amusing and not, it doesn't impede your fun, which is nice. What else is there to say about this one? It's got a multiplayer mode, which, and it's got some extra mini games, and some stuff is changed. This is the full version of the game. Some people were kind of confused. There's like a download-only version of this game that is significantly more anemic in its content. And a lot of people were like commenting on my video being like, I thought I played this and it like didn't have all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, you probably played the download version. But the full version is very cool. I mean, this would have been clutch as fuck to have in like, you know, grade school. Just in like junior high or high school, like just having Plants vs. Zombies on the go, and it's like a pretty decent port. I admire it, and it's like I think they had to recreate the music too. It's like the music is handled differently. There are some really funny parts where you could tell they kind of didn't want to put all the effort in to recreate certain things, like the ending cutscene, the famous music video at the end of Plants vs. Zombies. They just compressed it down to shitty DS graphics, and it looks like shit. But small blemishes on an otherwise excellent port. With some occasional bugginess. I had some complaints that more have to do with just like the design of Plants vs. Zombies in general. The fucking Zen Garden, man, it feels like, and this is a very specific complaint to like my like completionist brain, but doesn't it really feel like the goal of the Zen Garden is to get all the plants? Because it's like there's spaces in the respective Zen Gardens for exactly as many plants as there are in the game. Like that main Zen Garden, it's like the number of plants that don't go into the other gardens is the exact number of spaces on that screen. So it kind of feels like implicitly the overarching goal of the Zen Garden. I know this is not a very Zen attitude to this, but it feels like the overarching goal would be to collect them all. But you can fucking get dupes. This is what pisses me off, and this is what made me stop playing the game after a mere 100 hours. You can get duplicates, and that just ruins it, because it's just like, and I knew this was going to happen, and I was like, maybe it won't be as soul-crushing as it sounds like it will be. But it was such a soul-crushing grind, because it's just like, the more progress you get through collecting them all, the more likely you are on each respective hit of getting a Zen Garden plant to get a duplicate. And getting a Zen Garden plant is genuinely a process that it's such a low chance to happen that it usually is going to take, you're going to get like one Zen Garden plant maybe every like hour you play this game. And the returns on that are so ass, and it's like I'm just imagining getting that last Zen Garden plant. It's gonna be like a 1 in like 42 odds every time you get a Zen Garden plant at all that you actually get the one that you want to like complete your collection. And it's just like, just the simple change of making it so you can't get dupes at all. What would that ruin? What would that change? It would only improve the game. Yeah, when you're one away, you're halfway there, yeah. So, anyway, that's one tiny gripe about just like the design of PvZ in general. But honestly, I thought this was a great port. I'm gonna give this an 8.52. I fucked up in so many ways. I really need a new keyboard. See, it did it again. I swear I'm not holding the fucking button down. There's certain keys that either don't type at all or type twice. The space bar is one of the ones that types twice, which is great. Love that. Nice rare key press, you know. Yeah, I guess I would recommend it if you got a DS, you're lugging it around. That would be a great pickup for it, especially if you've never played PvZ before. It could be a very good way to experience it. It was really nice. I mean, part of the reason the longevity that I played it for so long is because I could just pull it out of my pocket and when I'm at the laundromat and just play around, you know. Okay. Sonic the Hedgehog Extreme Boarding. This is an LCD handheld. It's dog shit. It's not the worst LCD game I've ever played. It's not even going to be the last LCD game that we are going to review. This is the little toy that comes in a McDonald's meal when you buy a cheeseburger in 2003 that has like Sonic Heroes art on it, I think. It's Sonic in a half pipe, and there's obstacles and there's rings that you collect on the sides of the half pipe. Very nostalgic for me. But there's almost nothing to it. It's a single screen, high score attack. But I kind of think LCD games are at their best when they're simple. Like the really complex ones just are fucking dog shit. So, of all the LCD games, it's not the worst. I don't know, give it like a 2. You're not getting 2 for the amount of minutes you want to play it for. I almost said yes. Why? No. I mean, it's a cool little trinket, but it's a toy. I'm gonna blow my nose, but I'm gonna protect your virgin ears. It's gonna be the silent honk. Strobe action. Okay. Now we got some more bullshit ones. Let's make this a little quieter. these were all, these all have the same description. I really only booted this up for a few seconds to look at my old save file, but I may stream this in full someday. That's what they all say. They don't all say exactly that, but for simplicity's sake, that's what they all say. These were just ones that I was like looking at my Game Boy and I just like opened them up and showed them to the webcam. I'll give a really brief talk about all these. These are basically just ports of Mario games to handheld systems. Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, pretty good Game Boy Color port of Super Mario Bros. It's still a worse way to play Super Mario Bros. The screen is smaller, so you just get less time to react to things. I'm sure it fucks up certain, you know, aspects of the level design. It does have a level select screen. There's like an overworld screen, which is kind of cool for Super Mario Bros. I want to say I played this version of the game before I played NES Super Mario Bros. So when I played NES Super Mario Bros., I was kind of surprised when it didn't have that level select screen. I was like, you just go through the levels? Boomer! Hashtag boomer. This game also has some fun side content. It's got a Hunt the Yoshi Eggs mode, where you go through the levels and there's like Kaizo blocks that have Yoshi eggs in them that are in dastardly hidden spots. That's kind of a cool little side mode. I don't know, it could be a cool little way to re-experience Super Mario Bros. With some it was zhuzhed up a little bit, but however, it also, the diminished screen size probably makes the game worse to play. It's been a while since I played this, so this is a very loose ranking, but I'll give this, like, at the end of the day, it's Super Mario Bros., so like 4.5 maybe? I don't know. Did I give the original Super Mario Bros. A 5? Yes, I did. Perfect. That works perfect. Honestly, I'm gonna give this one a 5 too. It kind of feels like some aspects are worse, but it also has some cool extra stuff that actually is kind of neat. For such, it's interesting to have kind of this alternate universe version of such an iconic game. I mean, the most iconic game of all time, right? Like, I don't know. Let's leave it at that. I'm really on the fence. Obviously, a 5 out of 10. I'll be on the fence about recommending it. I'm gonna go with no for this one, but if you're interested, pick it up. Pudding this. Sorry, I gotta let Pudding speak her shit. Got King Goomba jump scared. Okay, Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Advance 2, Super Mario World. I didn't open Super Mario Advance 1 on stream, on camera. I didn't do that? Okay. Well, that one's good too. I don't know. All these remakes, basically, they're kind of interesting ports. I kind of, like, wonder how these were made. I'm assuming Nintendo just has, like, a repository of, like, source code that they can just... Because I know it's like, oh, the Giga Leak happened, you know, so it's obvious they're just, like, keeping a bunch of source code around for old games, you know, potentially for remakes or stuff like that. I was always kind of blown away by, especially the Yoshi's Island port. These are all in the GBA. I was like, damn, the sprite art looks exactly the same on the GBA as it does in the SNES version. Did they really, like, recreate it all? Did they, like, just tweak it? Or did they just, like, reuse it wholesale? How do you transfer data from, like, a SNES development project to a Game Boy Advance development project? I know a Game Boy Advance is basically a tiny SNES in your hands, so, like, I guess it just worked out well. I don't know. But then Super Mario Bros. 3, it's like Mario World and Yoshi's Island. Don't get me started on the order of these games, by the way. It makes no fucking sense. It's not the release order, even slightly. But, the fact that, like, Super Mario World and Yoshi's Island feel like they just, like, ripped sprites and code from the SNES version, whereas Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario Bros. 2, which were on the NES, it kind of feels like they just recreated those, or maybe they used the All-Stars versions. That's also entirely possible. It's just interesting to think about how they made these. I would love to see some kind of history about how they did that. Yeah, I was thinking about Silent Hill 2. Most companies keep their source codes other than Konami with Silent Hill 2, which famously, when they had the HD remakes being developed, they were like, developers, here you go, here's the source code for Silent Hill 2, and it was the source code for an unfinished build of Silent Hill 2. And so the people who were making this HD version of Silent Hill 2 also had to finish making Silent Hill 2 again. Crazy story. And that's why the HD thing came out so ass. But I have really fond memories of these. I played all of these when I was like 15. I think they're pretty great ports. There might be some more of that like screen width difference issue going on, but these are all pretty great ports. I think these are great ways to experience some classic Mario games, you know, updated for a modern audience that maybe doesn't want to play the entire game in one sitting without getting a game over, for instance. I remember getting very into these games and getting, you know, I don't think I ever... I 100%ed Super Mario World for sure. I think I did it with Mario Bros. 3 as well, and then Yoshi's Island is a very daunting game to 100%. I thought I had a memory of doing it, but I don't think I did. I think I checked my save file and it wasn't 100%ed. So I played the shit out of these. Okay, we got a chatter saying Mario Advance is gay as fuck, dude. LMAO. Okay. You heard the man? We gotta type in gay as fuck for all of these. I don't make the rules. Yeah, and there are extra levels in the Yoshi's Island, yeah. Which are crazy crackhead levels, by the way. They're like Kaizo levels. So what would I give this? Super Mario World on the GBA. I'm gonna look back at what I gave Mario World originally. This goes against my policy. Oh god. I can't believe there's 46 Marios on this list. That's so shameful. So I gave it a 9. Yeah. Oh boy, a 9 for Mario World? A 9.5 for Yoshi's Island. Pretty glowing past me. I don't know if I would give those numbers now, but they are good. They're good games. I promise this is an interesting question. What did he rate Mario Titans? It's not out. LARP. Fake fan. 18 Marios away from Mario 64. Yeah. Okay. What are we doing for this? Let's just go with my gut. Who cares? These numbers don't matter. 9. Sure, yeah. It's a good version of it. Super Mario Bros. 3 on GBA also has e-reader exclusive content that they actually added to Switch Online. So if you're interested in checking that out, it is on there. I am interested in checking that out eventually. It's a really low priority for me, but I want to play those because I always would go into that world in the game and like stare through the glass window, like fogging up the glass, you know. I want to go into those levels, but I can't because I don't know what an e-reader is. So that'll be a great way to conquer a demon from my childhood, the inability to get into the e-reader levels in Mario 3. Yes, I mean, I would recommend all of these. These are great. The classic Marios are good. I think Yoshi's Island best, Mario World second best, Mario Bros. 3 third best, and Mario Bros. 2 fourth best, and Mario Bros. 1 fifth best, in my opinion. My heart wants to give this one an 8, even though I have such a kinship with this game. It's also just like comparing it to like Yoshi's Island and Mario World. It's like, nah, dude. I'm gonna give this a 9 too. Who cares? The numbers don't matter. I'm just going with whatever my instinct says in this moment. Acting like 8 is bad. It's lower than what I gave the original. which doesn't really make sense, so that's why I'm kind of rationalizing. Okay, I was like, what the fuck is this? This is another LCD game. Electronic Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. This is one of those complicated, like, Tiger Electronics ones. I just hate these. They've just got such awful game feel. And it's like, this one was somewhat functional, but I'm always just like, I can barely tell what's happening. They have to cobble together so much bullshit to get something even remotely like workable on the screen. Of course the animations are like legendarily bad and awkward with the lowest frame rates possible. Just the absolute zero of frame rates. Like, at least stuff does move, kind of. Just snaps between positions. I do like that style, like there's nothing inherently wrong with it, but the way they tried to wrangle that into some kind of playable game for stuff like this and stuff like the Street Fighter Tiger Electronics handhelds, oh, they're just loathsome. They just feel terrible, and like, even the buttons, the way the buttons are mapped out, the control scheme, the feel, the tactile feel of the buttons is just terrible. Oh, there's a down! Fuse! Yeah, just dreadful. I mean, there's nothing I like about it, so no. 1 and no. Super Mario 64 DS. Kind of an interesting little duck. No, never mind. Sorry. I thought something crazy happened. I thought something insane happened. Super Mario 64 DS, kind of a contentious game. Some people have a lot of disdain for this game. I'm definitely one of the people who has nostalgia for it, so I look on it a little more favorably. I replayed it a little bit recently, and like, yes, controlling Mario 64 with a D-pad feels like ass. It's not, sorry, I got my hands on the table, you know, it's just wobbly. It feels like ass controlling Mario with a D-pad, for sure. Like, the controls are bad. I know you can use the touchpad for it. I know there's like a few different control schemes that they put in the game to try to make it like a little better, but it's just like they kind of had to force it eventually. I feel like it was just a miscalculation porting this game to this system. That being said, this version of Mario 64 is kind of interesting. It kind of seems like they did just remake the whole game. I don't know how this stuff works behind the scenes, but like the models and assets, everything looks different. It looks like they made everything anew. I feel like this game kind of fucks up too with the inclusion of the selectable characters, being able to play as Yoshi and Luigi and Wario and Waluigi. It just kind of muddies the waters of the design of the levels. It feels like the levels are mostly designed around Mario's kit, and they kind of like modified the levels to add segments that, you know, require you to use Wario or incentivize you to use other characters, but it just feels kind of clunky. It's just kind of like, it feels like they crammed that multiple characters thing into there, maybe just as a selling point. It just feels forced. So definitely a lot of clunkiness, a lot of issues with this game. It's kind of interesting seeing Mario 64 remade, and the new levels that are in this don't really ignite much passion in me, honestly. They're pretty bad. I'm trying to think of anything that's unique to the... I guess the minigames. The minigames are fun. Everybody loves the Mario 64 DS minigames. Confusingly unique set of minigames from New Super Mario Bros. Like, there's a bunch of minigames in this that don't show up in New Super Mario Bros. Even though, couldn't they have just done that for free? Like, why did they leave some out? I don't know. So, yeah, I guess now that I'm talking about it, there's really not a lot to love. It's just kind of an interesting little thing. I do have fond memories of it. It is how I primarily experienced Mario 64 for the first time. But I also kind of feel like it botched my enjoyment of Mario 64 a little bit because of all the, like, I think I played as Yoshi for like most of the game because I was like, he can just put on the hats and turn into other characters. Why would you ever turn into Mario and restrict yourself? Kind of a weird, shitty remake, honestly. So I definitely wouldn't recommend. Giving it a number ranking is going to be so tricky. I want to say like 5.5 or 6. Look how often the 5 key types twice. It's insane. Okay. By the way, do you guys ever think that I get a little too anal with the console listing here? DS, because it's a DS game, plus DS new 2DS XL. So that's meant to be, I played it on a webcam on a DS, and then I swapped to using my new 2DS XL backwards compatibility feature to play a DS game through direct capture. You are always anal. Not true, my friend. Oh, this song gets me hyped up. It's like, is that overly confusing? That's a particularly fucked up one. But all these, I don't know, it's like I feel like the primary thing is the console that the game is for. And then in parentheses is what system I actually used to play it, if there was, you know, some stipulation. I don't know. I'll probably keep doing it the anal way. It's the song that makes me go anal and hurt myself and others. Salty Seconds. This was like a fan game, I think. It's still crazy that somebody made this. We're going to stream this again. We're not done with Salty Seconds. We will have seconds of the Salty Seconds. It'll be very funny. This is basically a Mugen compilation that was put together by, I think, a fan of the stream. The fact that they didn't list this game online anywhere and just sent it directly to me implies that they just made it for us to play on stream, which I think is kind of a waste because I'm sure a lot of people would love to play this. I guess there is a public download that's just like a Google Drive link, basically, but it's really cool. It's a little buggy. It's an enormous Mugen compilation of like I think like 500 characters, I think was the number, something like that. Just a ridiculous number of characters from all walks of life and all media in the world. There's just matchups that have never been concocted before. A bunch of Salty Bet legends that we remember from the Salty Bet streams. And then just also a bunch of kooky Mugen characters that, you know, even I had never seen before. And I feel like I'm weirdly knowledgeable about Mugen just because of Salty Bet. But it was really fun. It's, of course, wildly unbalanced. Unbelievably unbalanced. But it was very funny to just go through and pick a bunch of crazy characters and have fights with each other. And there were still times that it felt like there were close fights, you know, balanced fights. But it's definitely like a comedy fighting game. And as a casual fighting game enjoyer, I was into that. I liked it. I like that experience of going into a fighting game with a friend, trying out all the characters, and then moving on. And I know that's not a super hardcore fighting game player mentality, but I am not a hardcore fighting game player. Yeah, I guess sharing Mugen stuff kind of gets a little... I can see how that would get a little weird, and like publishing it, it's like, oh, you know, what if somebody who made the Beavis and Butthead EX characters gets upset? I guess that makes sense. But amazing job, whoever made this. I forget their name, but they did a great job. I guess I would recommend if you're into like a funny fighting game experience. It was just a riot. Like, it was just a really fun time just experimenting and exploring all the crazy characters. Like a solid 8 in terms of, and that's my level of enjoyment. Alright. It's annoying me that Super Mario Advance 2, Super Mario World is highlighted. Michael Jackson The Experience. This is the shovelware Michael Jackson DS game. It is a ripoff of, it's just an outright clone of Ouendan / Elite Beat Agents. Those of you who have played Osu, that's the same type of game. It wasn't great. It was like, okay, I like Michael Jackson music. I like hearing the songs. There was like 1 or 2 songs that had like pretty good charting, and then a lot of them it was just really boring charting, and there's just nothing. There's just the little like shitty like scrawny 3D model of Michael like stiffly dancing around on the top screen. There's really not a lot of interesting stuff going on as compared to something like Ouendan or Elite Beat Agents. So it's a clone of something. It's a worse version of those things. It does have Michael Jackson. I would not recommend you play this game. Mostly just because the charting is bad, and it doesn't even have that many songs. It doesn't even have, like, Thriller, I think. There's not Thriller in this, which is crazy. It just kind of baffling to me. Now, there are different versions of this game on different consoles, and I don't know what songs they have, but this one I was shocked when the game just ended, and I was like, that was like 10 songs. There's so much to choose from with Michael Jackson. You did like 10 songs, and you didn't even do Thriller, man. Like, what? That blew my mind. So no, would not recommend. It was also... Did I just fuck up something on my streaming software? I hope not. It was not very fun. It was kind of funny. It's got the little museum of, like, Michael artifacts, which was kind of amusing, but, yeah, it's what you would expect this kind of game to be like. I was, like, amused, and there were times where it was kind of fun. Like, Ouendan is a fun formula for a video game, but I'll give it, like, a 3. Pets, Hamsters 2. This is the game with the incident. Not really my type of game. I know there's a lot of games like this on the DS. I know Nintendogs is a big thing. I never really got into these. It's just a really dull game. I don't know. Nobody's gonna be offended by this, but it is a really, really dull video game. Where you look at a little roach, a little 3D model of a roach, and the little 3D roaches are very amusing. I'm sure you can buy cool things for their cages and get all sorts of cool varieties of roaches, but it's so boring. It's like, oh, go to the store and get things, and go to your friend's house and talk about, not chinchillas, talk about hamsters, trade hamster tips with your friend, and then go back home and just sort of watch your hamster. And I think it's the kind of game that you're supposed to, like, play a little bit every day rather than just like mainlining, but not my type of game at all. Dreadfully boring, and it got me banned on Twitch for a week for saying a slur on stream, so definitely wouldn't recommend this one. I didn't actually get banned. I don't know, like a 1.5. It was like kind of amusing. Even then, it's like the roach action was not great. That 0.5 is the animation where you go on the wheel and they go like flying off and like cartwheel through the air. Okay. Outer Wilds. This is a tricky one because, wasn't it also down here? No, I moved it up. No, here it is. Outer Wilds 9. So I played Outer Wilds off stream, and then we played the DLC on stream. So I've already talked about Outer Wilds. I'm now going to talk about the DLC for that game. This is a very spoilery game. It's a game that people are very guarded about spoilers for this game, at least. And I kind of see why. That being said, I don't know. I won't go into spoilers too much. This is going to be a very short thing. I loved Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds is a fantastic game. I gave it a 9. I think I would give it more like a 9.5 or a 10, honestly, at this point in my life. I gave it a 9. Just because there are some things I don't that I feel are unnecessary roughness, but I love Outer Wilds a lot. It is a fantastic game. Fuck it, I mean, I'll just give it a 9.5 here with the DLC. That makes no sense. I'll clean this up later. But absolutely would recommend. It is a phenomenal video game. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to absolutely everyone. You are going to need to develop some pretty unique mechanical skills in video games that are not common to video games. All the stuff about like traversing zero gravity space and just dealing with a simulated gravitational solar system, that stuff is going to throw a lot of people off, and I've heard a lot of people say they gave up on the game because of stuff like that. But once you get the hang of that stuff, it's like, I think it is a satisfying experience developing that skill over time, and I think this game is very fair about testing that skill just enough without going too crazy with it. But there are going to be things, it's like, I made the mistake recently of suggesting this game to my sister, who really loves an interesting sci-fi story, but just doesn't have a lot of gaming experience, and she just could not get to grips with the controls. And this is not a slight on my sister, this is just a fact of life. Some people just don't have great motor skill development for games like this, because they just don't have a lot of experience with, like, controlling digital avatars at all. So I would be careful who I'd recommend this to, because I kind of do think it's like a gamer's game in a weird way. But it is a really great game. It is an excellent story. People call this game mind-blowing. I think that is a very fair assessment. That is a very fair descriptor. Absolutely is mind-blowing. I understand some people kind of think this game gets overhyped, but I think it is appropriately hyped. It is a masterpiece. The DLC was also excellent. The DLC had a little more, like... There were a couple puzzles that were pretty tricky to intuit, but it was like everything was there. The pieces were there. There were just some times where I kind of failed to put together some things. But there were some, I mean, there were some pretty fucking insane puzzles there that didn't just amount to, here's a simple action that you could have done at any time, but you wouldn't know to do that, like, does a certain thing. It's like, there's some stuff in here there's some pretty complicated shit you gotta do to access certain informations. But the story being told in this DLC, the design of the environments in the DLC, the design of the puzzles in the DLC, all the concepts explored, very, very cool. It's a perfect send-off, I would say, to what was already a masterpiece of a video game. It just puts a bow on the whole thing, and I love the way it fits into the story of the main game, while also kind of feeling like its own thing. Very well handled, very Outer Wildsy. It had all the sauce that the main game had, so definitely would recommend. They say it's scary, but it's fucking not. Like, maybe some people have more sensitivity to this kind of thing than me. I tend not to get, like, viscerally frightened by video games, but it's not like a horror game. If you can handle the anglerfish in the main game, you can handle what happens in the DLC. That's all I'm saying. So that's it. Somebody type in chat that anybody who is plugging their ears can now watch again. Great game. Anyway, Return of the Incredible Machine Contraptions. I haven't finished this game, so I'm not going to review it yet. I'm just that prestigious of a reviewer. Taboo: The Sixth Sense. Scarier than Secret of the Mimic? Anyway. Taboo: The Sixth Sense. This is a very... I mean, this is just like Astrology DS. I'm assuming. This is a hokey-cokey, spiritual nonsense game. It's really barely a video game. I mean, I would call it a video game, but that's because I have a very loose definition of video game. It's a tarot reader. It's an NES digital tarot reader. which is an interesting concept. I kind of love having it in my collection as just like a weird little piece of NES Arcana, but obviously it's not really anything. Like, it's basic. I mean, it's kind of like Tomodachi Life. It's like one of those, Yahtzee Crochet described Tomodachi Life as like one of those little like things that you make on the playground, the little paper, I don't know what those are called, where it's just like you're just choosing random options and just getting random results. And this is, I mean, I'm sorry if anybody out there believes in this bullshit, but I don't believe in astrology. I don't believe in like card readings having the ability to sense things in the universe. That's all very bizarre to me. I don't know much about it, but so I plead ignorance, but also doesn't believe in phobias. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I just think there are elements of how people express their phobias that are more learned behavior from culture than actual instinct. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's not that I don't believe in phobias. I have phobias. Anyway, we can't get into this right now. We can't fucking get into this right now. Yeah, like cockroach, like eek, a cockroach. Like you didn't instinctively do that. Oh, a bug. Ow, ah! Like I'm freaking out. No, calm down. You're fine. I've felt scared by things before. Horribly scared, unnerved by creepy things. What are you? What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Anyway, it's a fucking bug. You'll be fine. What does screaming do? Why do you have an instinct? Anyway. Taboo the Sixth Sense. It's not even, like, I really feel like just putting NA here, genuinely. I am gonna do that, because it's like not even a game. It's just, Even Tomodachi Life has more game-like elements than Taboo the Sixth Sense, but it is, I love it, kind of. Like, I love having it in my collection. It's such a cool, I love the idea that, like, spirituality and tech can, like, interlock like this. You know, we made this computer program that tells you spiritual things. That's such an interesting, sort of creepy, kooky idea. Someone bring up, yeah, thinking of apples. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it's like Temple OS kind of vibes. Yeah. Tarzan ass. Yik talks about that. You're not tricking me into playing Yik. I'm sorry. Captain Skyhawk. This one didn't really hit for me. This was one of those Rareware games. Rare Coin It on the NES. It's an interesting game. It's got a lot of like variety, cool sprites, interesting looking graphics. It's got some sort of faux 3D stuff that's very cool. I love the little landing mini game where you're landing on the ship. It's a very easy, simple mini game, but it's a cool little sequence. But I didn't really actually care for playing it. I found it pretty frustrating. It was very like instant death, restart the level kind of shit. I thought the controls felt really like slippery and bad, if memory serves. I don't really have a strong memory of this one. Wouldn't personally recommend, but it's another feather in Rare Coin It's cap of like visually impressive NES games. They never slacked on the visuals, I feel. Maybe they did sometimes, but they were always making pretty astounding looking effects. But the actual game itself, I don't know, like a 2.5. It was functional enough. It was just kind of frustrating and dull, despite the amount of variety that was on display. A lot of these I didn't finish, obviously, by the way. Rated a 2.A. Captain Skyhawk 2A. It's good. It's good. I'm gonna get you! No. Golgo 13, top secret episode. This is the game with sex in it. This game has a sex scene in it, which is pretty cool. I didn't play too much of it. it was kind of frustrating at parts, but it was also kind of awesome. Like, there were bits that did enthrall me. And not just the sex part. I liked the part where you're like sniping the guy from the helicopter and it's got the scope like moving around. That part looked really cool. And it's kind of, it's just like, oh, you're like wandering around the city and you're like talking to NPCs and they give you little spy tasks to do, and you're following along this plot line of like an assassin spy. This is based on one of the longest running manga series in history, right? An extremely long and old Japanese property that I don't really know much about. I just know the main guy is like a spy and a sniper. Yeah, I primarily know him from a Salty Bet Fighter as well, where it's just the scope. It's just like the little reticle of his sniper rifle moving around on screen, and if he misses, he instantly dies. But kind of a cool NES game. It's kind of unlike a lot of other NES games in certain ways. I seem to recall it's like you can duck in this game, but you can't duck and shoot at the same time, even though ducking and shooting would be really, really useful. And like there's some enemies that are just below your line of sight, so you just can't kill them at all, as far as I could tell. I tried really hard to kill the short enemies, but I couldn't figure out a way to shoot low. I think there just isn't one. Or maybe you can shoot down in the air, like it's Street Fighter 2010, I don't know. There was not much that compelled me to keep playing this, but it had that variety. It had a little bit of variety, you know, the sniping section. It had the scuba section, even though that part kind of sucked ass. So wouldn't necessarily recommend this, but maybe if you're like a huge NES enthusiast, love playing interesting retro games, could be interesting to check out. It was kind of like I didn't hate it necessarily. I just didn't want to keep playing it. We really haven't even made a dent in this NES pile. Sad. Been going for over an hour, and how many games have we done? A decent chunk, actually. You know what? That's a respectable chunk. From Face Raiders all the way down to this. I kind of want to just take a second to just take a little sip of water. Do I have any funny images? Not really. Oh, it does feel good to just take a little breather. My, like, sinus is cleared. Hold on. I gave my nose time to relax and my sinus is cleared. Okay. I'm gonna, like, open the door a little bit. It's hot in here again. No, my one piece of sound foam that was stuck to the wall fell off. That's so sad. Okay. Let's keep going. Iron Sword Wizards and Warriors 2. This game was extremely frustrating, and I got really pissed off playing it. It's a platformer. You play as a little goofy knight. It's another Rare Coin It game. Looks great, but plays like ass, in my opinion. I found it very, very frustrating. Slippery controls, kind of obtuse, annoying level design. Like, it felt like there were parts of the level design that were just, in the first level, like the devs were trolling me already. I was like, how is this going to progress throughout the game if they're already hitting me with this cruel level design in just the first level? Never played the first or third game in this series. I am pretty sure there are 3, at least. I think the first one is somewhat beloved, but I've never really heard anybody talk about this one. I didn't like it. It really annoyed me. Not much else to talk about. It was like annoying kind of maze-like level design too. Like there were the sprites were cute. but it was like I got to that cloud part, and it was hopping around on those clouds, and like the birds are like swooping at you, and it felt like worse than like Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. Just kept getting like knocked down, you know. Sorry, that was an unpleasant noise. So what are we giving this one? Like a 2? Sure. No. Famicom Meijin Sen. I'm gonna put an NA for this one. This was a mahjong game, right? Or no? What's the like Japanese chess equivalent? What is it called? Shogi? Something like that? It was a Japanese board game. Yeah, shogi. I'm just gonna put NA for this one because I don't know how to play shogi. And yeah, it's not Pai Sho. That's that shit Uncle Iroh was playing. I don't know how to play it, and I can't read Japanese, so I was unable to interact with this video game entirely. Also, I might as well also put NA for I Am a Teacher Super Mario No Sweater, because there really was no sweater that day. I just read some menus in Japanese that I couldn't understand. I don't think that counts as playing a game. Wonder if there's any others that are like that. Well, we'll get there when we get there. That's just one that like I popped into my head. We just knocked that off the list right away. Chess Japan. Chinese in origin? I believe you. Okay. Mama's Sleeping Angels. This was a fun little indie game. I actually ended up 100%ing this game. I think there was like some huge secret that I missed, but I got all the friends at the very least in this game after I streamed it that one time with Lark. It's a funny game. It's kind of got a cool vibe. What is that technology people use to like scan an environment and make like a 3D model map of that environment? It's like splatter, isn't it called like a photo scanning? Isn't it called like a digital splatter? I thought the word splatter was involved. Maybe I'm thinking of the Matter Splatter Galaxy from Mario Galaxy 2. A Gaussian splat, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. It kind of looks like that. It's got that like 3D scan, sort of weird lighting, surrounded by darkness. It's got an interesting vibe to the visuals. This is basically an indie game that is kind of a Lethal Company-like, so I understand. I've not actually played Lethal Company yet. I still want to. It's not the Gaussian squirt. I think that's the same guy who said that the other game was gay. Mama's Sleeping Angels. It's like a very quirky, sort of effeminate, feminine. Lark said it was like a trans femme coded game, and it is. It has a certain vibe to it, but it's at its core, it's kind of like Lethal Company, so I am told. You're like collecting a bunch of little items, and all the items have like curses associated with them, and you need to bring them back to Mama to feed them to her. But while you're holding the items, curses happen to you that can create all sorts of effects that hinder you or distract you. Some of them just do random shit. There's one that makes you like piss your health out as blood. There are some that make you hallucinate like enormous crowds of people. There are some that play sound effects that are meant to disorient you. There's all sorts of weird effects. There's some that make doppelgangers of yourself walk around the area that you're in, which is cool. Lots of really interesting, creepy, weird stuff. I really love the vibe of this. The vibe of this game. I love the look of all the weird NPCs and all their strange personalities. I love how the menu is like an old, 2000s flip phone, and you can get like custom, like bedazzled keychains for your flip phone. Just an interesting, weird game that's clearly like it bears all the marks of being like from the mind of one creative, and I love that kind of game. I don't know if it was actually solo developed, but it definitely feels like a singular vision. So what do we rank this? I think I would recommend it. It's got online multiplayer, or you could play it with friends. I think playing it with like 1 or 2 friends would probably be the ideal way to play it, but I was also able to 100% the game playing mostly alone, although I did hop in some online lobbies occasionally. And yes, there's a mechanic in this game where you kiss each other to restore your health, which is very funny and cool. It's just like Kirby. You know, I know I'm a very 8.5 happy guy, but this is like an 8.5. That's like, again, that's like great game. I think where it's, I know it sounded like I only praised the game, but where I think it's kind of lacking is that, like, after a certain point, the gameplay is pretty basic. There's enemies and there's guns, but they kind of feel ancillary. They kind of just feel stapled on, like they don't feel like crucial parts of the experience. It's just kind of like there's enemies walking around and maybe you shoot them, but, you know, a lot of them you can just ignore. That whole aspect of the game felt oddly balanced. I did see there was a form where you could submit like feedback for the game, and I filled out that form at a certain point, and I was like, I feel very strongly that the limited stamina doesn't serve to do anything but just slow down the pace of the game, basically. And I noticed that they didn't remove the stamina, but the developer did make your character have more stamina and recover more stamina quickly in recent patch notes. So I wonder if that was because of what I said, or if a bunch of people said that. It was kind of interesting to see. But the gameplay, I think the gameplay is probably the weakest part of this, but the vibes and the aesthetic and the world of the game are great. And the gameplay's like functional enough. It just kind of felt like, this could have used quite a bit of refinement, I think. Which is kind of what keeps this from being like a 9 or a 9.5. But cool game, really cool game. I was glad that I just tried it out randomly because it was very fun. It had a lot of funny moments, but it also had a lot of like kind of cool, creepy moments that just naturally happened because of the weird systems that were created. It's an interesting game. Okay, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. Oh, this is welcome version though. Oh, brother. It's got a different name, so I had to put it on the spreadsheet. This is the demo for Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. I'm gonna say I do not recommend, because you should just play the game. Just play it. It's the lobotomy version. This is just the first 20 minutes of Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, basically. How the hell do you rate this? I hate that I put demos on this list. Yeah, it sure is a demo. There's nothing exceptional about it. Doesn't have any unique content as far as I know. Let's just leave that blank for now. Actually, I'm just not even gonna, like, I could just put NA, but the thing is I've ranked other demos on this list. It's just like, is this demo so dull and not unique to the main game? Like, it says nothing about it besides the text that says welcome version. I guess that qualifies it for an NA. Because there's other demos where I did rank them, but those are demos where there's like actual unique content. What is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Get out of my stream. Mods! Mods! Yeah, this is the only funny thing about this is, or the only good thing about welcome version is that your Miis get lobotomized after you progress a certain amount through the game and become ads for the full game. All right. Cars. This is a really bizarre game, because this is just kids but reskinned with cars. What an utterly bizarre concept. It has nothing to do with Disney's cars, Pixar's cars. It's so weird. I can't think of a single other example of a game that's ever done this. And it's like, Kids is already such an unusual game. And then the fact that the devs were like, yeah, for April Fool's one year, we're gonna release a reskin of that game with just different graphics and sounds, but all the same mechanics. Mechanics, cars. A little car humor for you. What a bizarre experiment, but it was kind of fun, because it's like, it took... So Kids is such an abstract game that clearly is meant to like evoke symbolic meaning in a lot of different ways, or just conjure this sort of surreal world, otherworldly logic, you know, but it feels like it means something, even if you can't put it into words. And then recontextualizing it as traffic kinda slapped, like it was kinda cool. And it was funny that something so simple as just changing the sprites into cars, and changing the running sound into a running engine sound, and changing the voices of the kids into honking, made it just have a wildly different meaning. And it's like, that's kind of awesome. It's like, these are the kids in their cars in 30 years. I don't know, like, what a weird creative exercise. Now, it is very strange that this is a paid game. It's like $4, which I've advocated for indie games being able to charge whatever they want in the past, but charging a reskin of your game for charging $4 for a reskin of your game is crazy. Maybe they just needed a little cash injection, but that's gotta limit the number of people who are gonna play this shit. Man, like, I like these devs, but that, like, what a weird decision to make it paid. And to make it more than like 99 cents. Anyway, it's like they should just keep doing it. Just make planes, boats, meteors. It's funny, but like, I don't know if I would actually recommend this. It's definitely an interesting experiment. I'll give it like an 8. I'm not even looking at what I gave Kids. Candles, the candle. Okay, Egg. Hear me out, guys. Egg kind of slapped. It was good. There's a Terry Kavanagh joint. And it was a 3D platformer with an interesting control scheme, and really great music. It was like a bunch of guest musicians made different tracks for this game. It didn't always have music. It's a lot of it's just ambient sound, but the music when it played was quite good. The gameplay was great. It was kind of a Foddy-esque frustration platformer, but it never really got that frustrating. It always felt fair. It's like you have a pretty powerful move set in this game, even though it's very simple and limited, and it's like you always have that encouraging feeling of like, I could be doing better, and I can do better, and then you do better, and that is why hard video games are fun. It was a nice little, what did it take, like an hour and a half maybe to beat? It was a fun, just little pick it up, beat it, never have to think about it again type of game, even though it was great. I think it was a polished experience. I liked sort of intuiting. It's got a strange format that kind of wasn't obvious to me right away, but intuiting how the world is laid out and what I'm supposed to do to complete the game was kind of part of the fun. It wasn't really a puzzle, but it was just kind of something I had to figure out. Great game. It's a great little free indie game that was enjoyable. It had good design, it had good music, it had... The visual style's a little weird, but I found it appealing. Yeah, I'd recommend Egg. Oh, that 8? No, it's because of the price. It's because of the price. Yeah, Egg. What are we giving to Egg? I mean, this was a solid 8, too. Cars is such a weird example, again, because it's a reskin. Just don't think about it. Don't think about the numbers. Okay, My Exercise. This was a cute little, like, it's kind of a joke game, I feel. Like, you basically just sit there and just press a button over and over again, and kooky animations play. That's about it. It was cute, it was charming, it had a good sense of humor. I laughed very hard. I think this is a free game. I played it for about 10 minutes, and then it was like, do you want to just loop back around again with some different animations sprinkled in? And I was kind of like, I'm good. But I don't know, there's not a lot to say about this. It's just a little fat kid doing sit-ups, and more animations show up over time as he does more sit-ups. And he ends up, I think, going extremely fast and doing a ton of sit-ups, way more than any human ever could. Yeah. Barely a video game. I don't know, like, recommend, like, not really, I guess. Like, it really barely requires input from you at all. And I think at a certain point, it just stops taking input from you, and the guy just starts going on his own. How the fuck do you rate? This was a quintessential whack game. How the fuck do you number rank something like this? I don't know. 8.5. It was funny. It made me laugh. It's not a fucking 8.5. 7.5. Press control. This was a little fiddly game where you control a little character who walks around in an isometric screen, and he steps on keys that control a smaller character walking around on a smaller isometric screen. And that guy, when walking around, presses keys that control an even smaller guy. The layers keep going for a certain number. I don't remember, like maybe 4 or 5 layers. And the goal is just to press control on each layer of the simulation. It's a total mindfuck, and I played a little bit of it, and then it took me to like a second level that added more complexity to it, and I was like, I'm done. Doing even the simplest of tasks here is obviously extremely difficult and fiddly. It was kind of like a little brain teaser. I don't know, it feels like it's meant to be frustrating, obviously. It was an interesting brain teaser kind of puzzle, but it was so fiddly and annoying, which again, I am sure was the goal, was to be fiddly and annoying, but not really. I don't know, it wasn't exactly what I would call fun. It was interesting. It was like type 3 fun, and that's why I'm giving it a score of not 3, 2.5. I'm just gripping it and ripping it. What's this song? What if I don't tell you the song, but I tell you to play Tunic, the video game Tunic? Because Tunic is full of these songs. No, this one is called Memories of Memories, but it's from the Tunic soundtrack, and the Tunic soundtrack is full of bangers like this. You gotta play it, if you haven't. Maybe you already have. You have played it, okay. Well, everybody else, you got a little bit of homework. Yeah, same composer as Dust Force, which is a great OST on its own. I gotta play that game on stream at some point. I tried playing Dust Force, like, I got it in an indie bundle years ago, like a decade ago. And I tried playing it, and I was like, this is too hard. Anyway. Sorry, Mario Bros. This is like the most so retro bullshit we've ever played on the channel. It's a subversive Mario game where you play as Peach escaping from Bowser's clutches, basically. And it's like, the joke here is like, what if Peach could walk? Basically, what if Peach could jump around too? You know, she would easily be able to pull the axe behind Bowser and escape on her own by floating across the gap. It's kind of like, it's very 2010s OMG so retro comedy, but there was not a lot to like about it. I did, if I had to give one charitable thing to this game, it would be that I enjoyed the idea of going backwards through a game you're familiar with and finding a bunch of shit that you normally can't access. Like, there's stuff in these Mario levels that we've all played a million times, above and below them, that you've just never seen before that Peach gets to access. I was like, yeah, that's kind of a cute idea. But otherwise, this was such a nothing game. The little sprite of Peach going, like, looking at the camera was very funny, and the fact that the score system seemed to count up score when you run to the right and count down score when you run to the left or something like that. There was something horribly broken about the score system. It was just not functional, right? We've got an emote of that Peach face. Yeah, there was a point where Mario ran by, and I was very invested at that point, but then that was just a scripted event. It's never elaborated on. I thought, like, oh, is this going to go in some kind of, like, little creepypasta direction? But that was the one exciting moment of the whole game. And there was even, like, I thought maybe there was going to be, like, oh, here's, like, an alternate ending. Maybe you get, like, alternate ending text or something if you get all 10 of the collectible red coins. But there was literally nothing. Like, I don't think it even gave me a congratulations. It just said, like, 10 of 10 coins collected or something. And I was like, this is pathetic. Like, you can't even give me a line of text if I get all 10 of them? Just something, anything. So yeah, it was really a nothing game. Absolutely would not recommend. Some kind of interesting ideas that I think the developer maybe just stumbled onto by accident. It kind of has a charming Kusoge aspect to it. I enjoyed streaming it, even though it is just terrible. Like a 2. The Fantastic Game. This is going to be a tricky one to rank, as with all these whack games. And by the way, I still am going to do more whack games at some point in the future and stream Locution, which the developer of the Fantastic Game, like, reached out to me and hooked me up with a beta build of Locution, which was their unfinished game from years and years ago. So I'm going to play that at some point. In the next whack games, it's been a while since I've done a whack games, but in the next one. This is an old meme game, basically. This was popularized by Vinesauce Stream, and it's the first Egg-like, even though we just reviewed Egg. Well, it's not the first, because Egg came out way after the Fantastic Game, so QED. It's a first-person walking simulator with extremely minimal gameplay. It's basically just an exploration game, and it's kind of a shitpost. There's not really any real gameplay to it. It's just a... Yeah, 200 people here watching me review the Fantastic Game? Jesus Christ. It's funny, but I feel like I have to qualify that by saying I have nostalgia for this. I remember laughing a lot at this when I was, a teenager. We've all aged a bit since then. But I found it very comforting to go back to, slipped into it like an old pair of jeans. That style of humor, I think, did influence me quite a bit. And I hold a fondness for this game, even though I feel like most people, if they played this, they'd be like, this is like a steaming pile of shit. But it's an interesting genre, the shitpost game. It's kind of a post-punk sort of sensibility of just like, I'm just gonna make some crap and put it together, take some random like images I got off the internet and put them in my game, like screw it. Put a bunch of inside jokes that nobody's gonna understand but me on here, and just let them react to it. How can I add a game to the spreadsheet? Only I hold the power. These are games I've played, so the only way to add a game onto this spreadsheet is for me to play it. I'm sorry. But anyway, this is a weird game to rank. I'm gonna give the number of my personal enjoyment maybe like a 7.5. God damn it. It's that 5 key, I swear. And, like, recommend probably not, just because, like, this is the kind of game that you had to be there, I think. I think this is one of the games where that statement is the fairest to say. You had to be there. Anyway, Sam and Max hit the road. Oh my. I'm getting a little tired. Going hour and 50. Oh. We got 3 like heavy hitters here, and then we got a bunch of NES bullshit. Oh, you know, I bet if I cut this off pretty soon, I bet one more stream and I can get through all this and do these little fiddly bits here. And probably like a couple other things that I will have played by then. And I can also do like the Incredible Machine. It'll be fine. So we won't do we won't catch up today, but I wasn't planning to catch up today. We did good work. And all these NES games aren't going to take super long, but they will take an amount of time. Yeah, it's funny. The Fantastic Game, it's like a game that not a lot of people actually played. Obviously, it's something that a lot of people just saw through videos, but I played it back in the day, and I played it now. There is something kind of compelling about it, you know, the secrets. It's like, it feels like there's a secret around every corner. And there are still some secrets I don't understand about it. Okay, Sam and Max Hit the Road. This is a point-and-click adventure game, so it sucks. No, wrong. This is actually a pretty tolerable point-and-click adventure game. There were definitely times where I was like, what the fuck, man? But you just gotta accept that point-and-clicks are a scam to sell hint books. Like, you just gotta accept that. For a point-and-click adventure game, which is a genre that I've never really gelled with, it's very good. It's got an interesting sense of humor. A lot of jokes that Sam and Max tell, it's like they don't make me laugh. Like, my actual reaction is like, okay. But, like, I register logically that they are funny. There's this kind of, like, background murmur of humor to, like, everything that Sam and Max do. It never makes me, like, cackle out loud. Or at least it tends not to make me cackle out loud. But it's just got like a funny vibe to it. It's got kind of like a dad humor vibe in a way. But really charming animations, great sprite work, great background art. The music, I think we were not playing it in the proper sound font or something. There's like different ways to experience the music in this game, but we had like a very kind of basic MIDI sounding music that didn't really hit all the way for me. Maybe the improved version of the soundtrack would be better. Okay, that's a dumb sentence, but I probably would like the other version of the soundtrack better, but we didn't play with that version. So the music didn't really hit super hard for me, but the visuals were great. I loved whenever it played some kind of like new animation. It felt like a treat. It felt like, oh, you know, we got past a certain amount of gameplay and now we get to see a cool little animation, you know, like the tornado, the vortex getting sucked into the snow globe. All those weird little animations are great. There was one that like looked really bad and weird, but apparently that one was like added for a later version of the game or something. We also had the version of the game that had voice acting, which I guess the original didn't. All things to note, but the voice acting's good. The humor is good. The usual gameplay gripes with point and clicks were here. But sometimes I feel like my mood playing a point and click really affects like my ability to like reason, because in this it was like there were 2 streams, and the first stream we were just confused and complaining like the whole time, and then the second stream it was like everything made basically a certain amount of sense, and we just kind of breezed through the second half of the game. And it was like, was that because we were like in a good mood, or was there just a bunch of dumb shit in the beginning of the game, or what? I don't know. But it did feel like there were Moon Logic moments, but like I'm starting to wonder if it really is the call is coming from inside the house. It's me. I'm the problem. The most devastating lesson to ever learn. But I still got frustrated at it. I'm gonna give this a tentative recommendation. I don't know, it's not for everyone, obviously, but it's a fun little zany comedy game. And it gave us Conroy Bumpus, the greatest villain of all time. 8. Just what my gut tells me. Tomodachi Life, living the dream. This is mostly an improved version of the Tomodachi Life concept, in my opinion. The fact that it's a town, you can customize the town, people love building a little island, ever since Animal Crossing, you know, island building sort of mechanics hit the world. I like having the island. I like the Miis walking around on the island and naturally interacting with each other and getting into situations. I obviously miss the songs. That's like the big thing from the original game that's just missing in this one. I still hope they add that in some kind of update or something, but as of right now, it's just gone, and that's a shame. You do see the characters like hum songs occasionally, but for the most part, it's not present. Now, playing this game was a little rough for me, just in the sense that I have like settled in my chair in such a way that I can now make my webcam even smaller. There were parts of this game where it kind of felt like the content was a little anemic. There were times where it felt like we just kept getting the same cutscenes and the same interactions over and over and over again. I think that was a result of like playing the game too hard, though. Like, I think we played it too much, too frequently, for too many hours a day, and the game is just not equipped for that kind of gameplay. What is this song? It Goes Hard. I don't remember the name of this particular one, but it's the Planet Daub OST. I beg your pardon, rather. This is not you gotta go listen to the whole album, because this is not even close to the best track on this album. This whole album slaps. We heard How Do You Think earlier, which is like pure Kino. So I kind of, yeah, do you prefer a big blank or a small blank? Yeah, all those conversations we just heard so many times. It has the same issue as the original game for me, where so much of the content, of course, is just random. It's just characters just say random shit and do random shit. That part's still kind of like, I don't know, it just feels meaningless to me. But that's also kind of part of the fun. It's kind of part of the chaos. But there are certain things, even I think beyond the fact that we were playing it too much. Why are there so few dream sequences they can have? Why are the news segments, they feel so formulaic compared to how they did on Tomodachi Life 3DS? And I can't even pin down why, but whenever I get one of those news segments, I'm just like, this is just gonna be nothing. Like, I don't know. There are some parts that just feel a tiny little bit downgraded from the original, which is a shame, because the whole aspect of customizing the island, the improved Mii creation tools, there's a lot of exciting stuff, but there's also some parts that just feel kind of lackluster. Somebody said the news segments were a last-minute addition, apparently. Is that true? That's why I tried to say the word last just now instead of lack. So, yeah, it's like aspects of it are fine. There are some parts of it that feel stronger, but there are also some parts that feel weaker. And there's just some stuff that's just outright missing. I do like being able to create custom buildings and create custom clothes for characters, custom food. The pets are amazing. Lots of great stuff, but it does... I think the end result of every Tomodachi game is you kind of like walk away from it feeling kind of empty in a weird way, just sort of like slowly realizing how hollow these experiences are. But before you reach that point, they're pretty great. So, I don't know. But yeah, just the Tomodachi's just walking around and interacting with each other is great. I agree with that. Okay, so what are we ranking this thing? I don't even know. I think I might recommend it, sure. It's fun. It's got that very, like, internet-y fun to it, where it's like, a lot of the fun is like making stuff and like sharing it with other people on the internet, like, oh, look at this thing that I made, you know? I'm gonna give it like a 7.5. I know we've been doing a lot of 7s and 8s today, but sometimes that's just how it happens. It's funny because I always felt like I was super biased, like I did the IGN thing of giving like 6, 7s, and 8s a lot, and then like not doing a lot of other numbers. But we sorted this spreadsheet by number values, and it ended up being like a pretty even distribution. Like there were definitely more in the green than in the red because I just tend to play games that I want to play. But I remember seeing the distribution and being like, oh, I'm actually not as, like, IGN-brained as I thought I was. Anyway. Mouse PI for Hire. This was a pretty disappointing one. This is a Rubber Hose animated 3D first-person shooter. The animation is very cool, but that was not enough to carry this whole thing. This was a game where I didn't play the whole thing, but I played it for about 2 hours, and I kind of went, I can just tell this doesn't have the sauce. And from everything I've heard, I watched the Civi video about it. I think there was a Zero Punctuation review. Every reviewer I've listened to that I trust has agreed and been like, yeah, it just doesn't really have anything that really makes it exciting besides the Rubber Hose art style, which at this point has been done before and better in games like Cuphead and Forgotten Portals. Enchanted Portals? What was it called? And Toon Souls. So, like, it was... And the sad thing about this is, like, everything was functional. It was, like, functional shooting, functional upgrade system, functional enemy designs, functional level layouts, functional, there was a little side mode, a little card minigame, but just none of it excited me, really. None of it had that, like, electrifying, like, wow, I'm playing a really great game right now. It just kind of felt like everything was just going through the motions. And, that was disappointing to me because I feel like this is a concept that could have had a lot of potential, or did have a lot of potential, but didn't really, like, live up to it in the way that I was hoping it would. So it was very disappointing, I think is the word that I would use specifically here, because I was kind of hoping it would have more of the sauce. And the story, I just didn't give a shit about any of the story. When all the characters were talking, I was just like, blah, blah, blah. I just don't care. There was just nothing keeping me interested. I don't know, it was really disappointing, and it's sad because it's like, again, it's everything's working here, technically, but there's just that sauce is missing, and sauce is what you would come to a game like this for, I would say. So, yeah, anything else to even, like, really talk about here? I don't know what I would rank it, but I don't know if I would recommend it. It just seemed kind of tedious. Just seemed like something that you would just be so over it by the time you're done playing it. Like a 5, 6? I don't know. The art design and the visuals were great. I even kind of, here's something I note about this game. It's Rubber Hose, but all the actual Rubber Hose style animation is just samey looking mice. It's just a bunch of mice. Like, it's like, yeah, some of them are rats and some of them are shrews, and they have, like, different body types. They're wearing different clothes, they got different weapons, but they're all, like, the same face syndrome is off the fucking charts with this one. Like, every character looks identical. It's like, there's the faces are a little different for, like, girl mice and boy mice. But that's about it, and it's just, like, Rubber Hose animation was so creative and so surreal and expressive and just went in so many crazy directions if you watch like old Rubber Hose cartoons. But you would think from this that Rubber Hose is just all about like mice. It's like that's the wrong thing to take from like making a Mickey Mouse inspired thing. It was just, oh my god, like what's the point of having putting all this work into making all this enemy variety, and then they all just feel the fucking same. And I'm walking around these arenas, the combat arenas, with my gun going, oh, there's an explosive barrel. I guess I'll shoot the token explosive barrel. Oh, I got him. Yeah, I feel nothing. It was really disappointing. And it's like a lot of great like art, and the systems work, and I'm sure it's got a fully fleshed out story and everything, but just none of it worked. Would not recommend. Okay, Spelunker. This is the game for which the term kusoge was coined, apparently, or so I'm told. This is by Broderbund Software, which also made Lode Runner, which is one of my personal favorite NES games. I think it's a total sleeper hit. It's just like a really great NES game that you never hear anybody talk about, Lode Runner. This game was very frustrating and difficult. It's a platformer where you're spelunking for treasure. And you go through basically this one enormous level with like 2 or 3 checkpoints throughout, I think. And it's got really, really strict fall damage. Like if you've ever played the original Donkey Kong arcade game, you might have jumped off a tiny ledge and Mario dies and you go, what the fuck is that fall damage? This game has even crazier, stricter fall damage. But it requires you to jump over pits and navigate stuff that easily could lead to fall damage constantly. Everything kills you instantly in this game. Death sends you all the way back to the beginning, I think. Maybe you have lives and then it sends you all the way back to the beginning, but it's very brutal, very centered around repeating the same rooms over and over again, very meticulously. I felt that like all that I could get past and enjoy if it weren't for the controls. Because the controls just sucked. I don't actually, it was a while ago, so I don't remember super clearly what was terrible about the controls, but I just remember just simple acts like moving and jumping around and jumping off ropes in particular were really, really awkward. I think if you refine the controls of this game, it actually could be kind of enjoyable to like, you know, learn how to dodge all the traps and handle all these different situations expertly. But even with the crazy fall damage, it could be a compelling game, but the controls were just so ass. That's what really put me off it. So definitely wouldn't recommend. I think it's like if you could mod this to have better controls, it could be like a salvageable kusoge. And you gotta respect it for being the OG kusoge. And maybe I'll play the Spelunker HD and it'll fix the controls, but kind of doubt it. I doubt I'll even get as far as playing it, sorry. Like a 3.5. Again, if the controls weren't so ass, it would be kind of compelling, even though it's still kind of just a overly brutal NES platformer. Did you see the Jerma Impactful Games ranking streams? I saw like a screenshot of his list. I didn't watch the streams. That would be very interesting to watch, though. I love hearing people talk about games. I wish more streamers would do shit like this, frankly. I know Vinny a while back did like a top 100 games spreadsheet, and maybe did it for like movies and music too. I wish streamers would talk about their true feelings, their deep feelings about games more, rather than just playing them and moving on. So I'm probably gonna watch that. I'm probably gonna watch that Jerma thing. My voice is dying. We'll crank out the the Quattro adventures here at least. Okay. Linus Spacehead. This was like a hilarious troll game. It was kind of funny. Like it kind of had its own. The thing about all of these the thing about all these Quattro games is they all kind of had like enjoyable qualities to them, even though they were all pretty terrible. Linus Spacehead felt like a cruel Mario Maker level or something. Like, it just felt like a troll game. There's that first part where you're jumping on the bubbles to get out of the water before you drown. And you know, you're depending on these random bubbles floating up to like platform off of. Kind of frustrating and annoying, but like kind of funny in a way. And then there's that, I never got past that second level with the, or I think I did get past it, but then there was just another, there was the third level was identical to the second level in vibe, and I was like, I'm done. But the tropical level with the coconuts falling off of trees was like straight out of I Wanna Be the Guy. It was crazy. Like, I was like, I can't believe they made such a like troll game here. But I didn't get very far in it. The controls were kind of interesting. The controls didn't feel bad. It was just kind of, it took a while for me to get used to the strangeness of them. But once I got used to it, it was kind of like, okay, this is an interesting control scheme. You know, not the worst thing I've ever played. The controls, I seem to recall it was like if you hold right and then jump, and then hold the jump button and let go of everything else, your character will just bounce to the right infinitely, which is an interesting, I've never played a platformer that worked like that in my memory. Yeah, I like Jerma choosing specifically to do impactful games. That's an interesting thing to talk about, because it's like, you know, everyone knows fucking like Outer Wilds is the best game ever made or whatever. Like, there's games that are so critically acclaimed that it's like putting them at the top of your list is almost passé. But impactful games, it's like, oh, you can talk about weird shit like, you know, Windows Movie Maker or whatever, My Movie Maker Pro, whatever that software is. I saw that was one of the ones on his list, the thing that he made the like Rats video and all that other stuff with. Multiple Tiny Toons games really high up, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would have like the Harry Potter PC games on there probably. Okay, Linus Spacehead. I wouldn't actually recommend it. Give it like a 4. That's what my instinct tells me. Super Robin Hood. This was probably the best of the Quattro collection. It was a momentum-based 2D platformer. Where you kind of like slide around and like gain speed by running and stuff. There were interesting little platforming puzzles that came from that that I thought were interesting. It was kind of you're navigating this maze-like dungeon of enemies. As Robin Hood, I don't know the Robin Hood lore, especially as it pertains to this game. Is this, who's the guy, the Sheriff of Nottingham? Is this the Sheriff of Nottingham's castle? I don't know. But it was kind of a fun little puzzle platformer. It didn't really have a ton of sauce to it. I kind of liked the way the levels were laid out, and I enjoyed the physics of the platforming. I thought there were some fun encounters where figuring out how to like use your momentum optimally to get through a situation was quite compelling and enjoyable. So still wouldn't recommend. If I had truly loved any of these enough, I would have played them to completion, but I didn't play any of them to completion. But this one, it would be, I think if I had to go back and play one to completion, like gun to my head, it would probably be this one. I'll give it a 4.5. Pretty neat little NES platformer, but it got frustrating, as many NES platformers do. It just got kind of boring and frustrating over time. This game is kind of what Super Robin Hood is kind of what Dragon's Lair NES should have been, in my opinion. Like, that would have been such a better direction for that game to go in. Okay, Boomerang Kid. This was probably the worst of the Quattro games. When I started this game, I really fucking thought this was going to be a game about a kid who throws boomerangs. No, it's about a utterly defenseless kid who has no attacks at all, who collects boomerangs. That pissed me off so bad. I was like, you're telling me I can't even throw a simple boomerang in this game? Like, you had one job, but you failed even that. Oh. Oh my god. I've just been handed something magical. Bella just walked in and gave me the mail that showed up today. Oh my god, yes. It's here. We were just talking about impactful games. After its months-long journey after I ordered it off eBay. It's finally here. Ozzy Explores the Forest. I played this game as a kid. It's a shit educational game for PC, made in like 1995 or something. Learn about the importance of trees through over 20 games, puzzles, and activities. Ages 3 to 8. I don't think I can actually like play this, but I kind of wanted to just have it. And there's a larger game called Ozzy's World. Hey, honey. Thanks for the Ozzy. Yippee! Yippee! There's a game called Ozzy's World, which is a larger educational game. And then they made demos of a bunch of different segments of that game and repackaged them in things like this, like Ozzy Explores the Forest. Bella's ripping tape off of a box. It's okay. It's mail time! We all got a package. Yippee, yippee! Oh man. I want to look at this. God. It's in pristine condition. For all I know, this is the copy I had as a kid. Oh, is that your new VR controller?
Yeah, I bought a backup.
Cool.
They like to break.
Science experiments. Make ancestor apples. Ancestor apples? Create leaf rubbings. Make musical instruments. Turn trees into paper. Ah! I gotta like eat it off of my head like a dog with a treat. Snap up and eat it. Make rainforest in a pop bottle. Make a planetarium. If I can find a way to play this on stream, I will, but that's so funny. I actually accidentally, so we moved in like the last like 8 months or so, accidentally sent this to the wrong house, and the poor eBay seller got it returned to them, and I messaged them and I was like sheepishly like, can I give you my real address so you can send it to me again, please? And they were like, yeah, give me your address. Yeah, wow. Just look at that face. Such a forlorn expression on Ozzy. It was like 10 bucks. I was like, hell yeah, I'll take that. Okay. Sorry, let's get all this bubble wrap out of here. Just about done for today. We're just gonna do the rest of Quattro Adventure, and then I'll probably sign off. He genuinely does not look happy. No, he's like... It's such a sad expression. Oh. I see. Okay, Boomerang Kid, it was terrible. It was, I think the concept with this one was like, it's platforming with fall damage, where you're trying to safely ascend to collect a thing, and then descend safely to the exit. That can be fun. We played a game called Fall Structure that's about that. Controlled falling, but this game just did not have any sauce. The sprites and stuff looked okay. I don't remember anything about, like, anything exceptional in terms of music or sound design. It was just like in avoid the enemies and collect a thing. It was such a basic game. It really felt like a shitty Flash game. So no, would not recommend. It was like a 1.5. There was like almost nothing fun about it. Finding the route through the level, I think, is supposed to be like the compelling part of the game, I guess. Finding a safe route through the level. It's like a stealth game almost, but it just was not compelling. It just did not hit for me. Now, Treasure Island Dizzy, this is a hilarious B game. I would consider this Kusoge. It's not actually fun, really, in any way. It's a side-on, like, 2D platforming adventure game with, like, inventory adventure game mechanics. The inventory system is one of the worst I have ever witnessed in any video game, and it adds so many unnecessary complications to the way that you progress through this world that it is hilarious. I could go into detail, but really just watch the VOD. It's unbelievably bad, the inventory system, to the point where it feels like there are puzzles designed around the awkwardness of the inventory system, which I don't think is very fun. And it's also just got a bunch of unintuitive bullshit, instant deaths. There are things that just kill you, and it's just like, oh, well, you just have to start the whole game again. Just restart the whole sequence of events that you've done. People love doing that, you know, resetting all your progress in an adventure game. Yeah, there's a reason so many adventure games do that, is because it's really fun and good. But it was definitely Type 3 fun. It was like just learning how ridiculous this game is and how just, I mean, frankly, terrible the game design is. I know, I try to resist just saying, like, that's bad game design or whatever, but this game was such a showcase of just some of the most dog shit choices I've ever seen in a game. I was just like, who would possibly think this is fun? However, there were some interesting, like, there were some fun little secrets. It had its charms. I like the Yoke folk as characters. They're funny to me. The controls are really bad and awkward, but they're not, like, unusable. It's really all just about knowing the exact, like, I feel like this game would be easy peasy with a guide. There's almost nothing mechanically difficult about it. But it's so jank and poorly designed as to be utterly hilarious. So I kind of have a certain amount of ironic enjoyment of this one. So if you were ever to play it for the fact that it's funny as fuck. I kind of feel like this might be a fun game that's like in a Discord call with 3 of your drunk friends, just like losing your mind about how broken a game is, you know, or how shitty a game is. But also has a little bit of its own charm, to be sure. And this is a long, venerable franchise, the Dizzy franchise. This is just one entry of many. So, I don't know, I'd give it like a 5 because I did enjoy it. Like, it made me laugh a lot. But it also was, like, unbearable and frustrating. But that's kind of part of why it's funny, in a weird way, what I enjoyed about it. Okay. I think we'll be done for now. Could talk about Pokemon Black and Animal Crossing Wild World, but I think I'm good for now. My voice is starting to go. Yes, the spreadsheet is public. It'll be in the VOD description, and someone might be able to drop it in chat. I could share it, too. Okay, well, we got some good progress done. Did we get, like, a whole page done? We got more than a whole page done. Good shit. A little over a full page. That's nice. I guess there were a few NAs in there, but those are gonna happen. There it is. Oh, that's the one. There's the spreadsheet of the games that I've played with, like, links to VODs, but this is a different one with the reviews. Okay, somebody also posted the review spreadsheet link. Cool. So now I'm gonna see, yeah. Anonymous Frog, Anonymous Chipmunk, Anonymous Iguana, Anonymous Fox, Anonymous Kraken! Mina the Hollower reference? So join me next time for reviews when I review Where's Waldo NES, Dark Gimmick, Mina the Hollower, Wally Bear and the No Gang, and other such things. We still, by the way, this game's on here. We ain't finishing this shit. Bella started playing this game with me, and we never finished it, and I was like, oh, we gotta pick that game back up, and she was like, oh yeah, we will. And then, like, months later, I brought it up again, and she was like, oh, you wanna finish that? What? But apparently this game's like half an hour long, so we could probably just bang it out anyway. Anyway, there will be more reviews in the future. I can't say if it'll be soon or anything like that, but it will happen. Consider this. Wide. Let me see if anybody's live right now. Shrimps is live. Varg Skeletor playing DKC3. If it's the Game Boy Advance version, we raid him. If it's not, I spit. It's a black screen, by the way. Is this what all his streams are like?
So here is Mike's reaction to playing this game. This is 2 hours in, I believe, and
he's just doing some bullshit. I can't believe it.
For a while.
Okay. Any Mina the Hollower streamers? I want to like find there was like a very chill streamer who I was enjoying watching Mina the Hollower gameplay of the other day, but I can't find them anymore. I wanted to raid them like they're streaming constantly. Grand Pooh Bear is streaming. Man, I miss it. Carl Sagan 42 hasn't streamed in like months. Oh, there's 4 people watching Mr. Gimmick. Tib, Biddies, and Gimmick?
No, I think he's done
What?
with his stream.
No. No. My face is on their stream. I'm on their stream. I can't believe this. They're watching me. Did they set their category to Gimmick to try to bait the raid from me? It's like a VTuber with tit out. Oh my god. Well, you know, you got me. I gotta do it. You know, I gotta admit defeat. You baited the shit out of me. Let's go raid this person. Screw it. I've said in the past you could get away with doing this. Alright, well, be warned, there be tits. And you better play Gimmick. You better play Gimmick. Or there's gonna be trouble. You better play the whole damn game. Alright, bye guys.